A new day had dawned over the Eternal City, a city that holds the heart of Catholicism, and a place where faith and tradition meet. This day, however, was not just any ordinary day. It was a historic day. The air in Vatican City was filled with a sense of anticipation, as people from all corners of the world gathered to witness something that had never been seen before. The world's eyes were all turned toward St. Peter's Square, where a new era of leadership in the Catholic Church was about to begin. Luis Antonio Tagle, a name that had been whispered in the halls of the Vatican for years, now stood at the forefront of history. He had ascended to the highest position in the Catholic Church, becoming Pope Luis I, the first Asian pope in history. The significance of this moment could not be overstated. It was a turning point not just for the Church but for the world itself. The crowds that filled St. Peter's Square, waving banners from every nation, were not just welcoming a new pope. They were welcoming a new hope. The moment Pope Luis I appeared before the crowd, there was a collective gasp that echoed across the square. The excitement was palpable, and the applause that followed was deafening. It wasn't just the presence of a new leader that stirred the hearts of the crowd. It was the promise of something more. It was the promise of change, of unity, and of healing in a world that often seemed divided by conflict and strife. In that moment, Pope Luis I was not just a man. He was a symbol of hope, a symbol of continuity, a symbol of the enduring spirit of humanity, even in the face of great challenges. His presence was calm yet commanding. He stood tall, but his gaze was humble. He met the eyes of those in the square, offering not just a blessing but a silent promise that he would lead with compassion, understanding, and a deep sense of responsibility. What followed next was something that took the world by surprise. As the crowd fell silent, awaiting his first words as Pope, Pope Luis I spoke. His voice was soft yet powerful, and his words carried across the square with a sense of urgency. He spoke of the need for unity, for understanding, and for peace, in a world that had become increasingly fractured. His message was simple, yet profound. A call to love one another, to show kindness, to seek forgiveness, and to embrace one another as brothers and sisters in faith. But it wasn't just the words themselves that left an impact. It was the way Pope Luis I delivered them. He wasn't standing above the crowd. He was among them. His eyes, filled with warmth and humility, told the story of a man who understood the struggles and hopes of the people he now served. He spoke not as a distant figure, but as one of them, offering comfort and reassurance in a world that often seemed cold and uncertain. The crowd listened intently, hanging on every word. Some wept quietly, others smiled, but all were united in the shared experience of this historic moment. Pope Luis I had a way of making everyone feel seen, heard, and understood. His words didn't just resonate with the faithful. They reached out to anyone who longed for a better world, a world where compassion and understanding could overcome the hatred and division that so often defined human history. His message went beyond the walls of St. Peter's Square. It echoed across the globe, reaching far beyond the boundaries of the Vatican. From the bustling streets of Manila to the skyscrapers of New York, from the ancient temples of Asia to the modern cities of Europe, billions of people tuned in to hear his words. World leaders, too, watched closely, wondering what this new pope, this son of the East, would bring to the table. Could he usher in a new era of dialogue and cooperation? Could he bridge the divides that seemed to grow wider with every passing day? Pope Luis I's first few days as pope were filled with the kind of anticipation and curiosity that only such a historic event could create. People were eager to see what direction he would take the Church in. Would he stick to the traditions of his predecessors, or would he chart a new course entirely? What would his vision for the Catholic Church be? How would he address the challenges facing not just the Church, but the world as a whole? Then, just as the world was beginning to settle into this new reality, Pope Luis I did something that no one could have predicted. His very first act as pope would be something that would shake the foundations of the Vatican and the world itself. Standing before a sea of faces, Pope Luis I made an announcement that would send shockwaves around the globe. His voice, though soft, carried with it an unmistakable sense of urgency. He spoke of the wars and conflicts that were engulfing the world, He named the countless battles raging across continents, the forgotten wars that had claimed the lives of so many innocent people. His words painted a vivid picture of a world in turmoil, where hope seemed to flicker and fade with every passing day.